Well, here we go. I wanted to start today's little podcast here live on Facebook. I wanted to start it off with a bit of a tease for you guys. What you have in front of you right now on the screen are the recipes that I have created for our February boost camp, 28-day boost camp. It is going to be a very delicious journey into the world of gut health and anti-inflammatory healing food, because everything that you see in front of you right now, yes, I have created. A lot of them I've actually done over the last weekend, so they're still very fresh, fresh, hot off the press, hot from my kitchen, and my tummy is still enjoying the benefits of all this gorgeous food. So yeah, I thought I'd start with this teaser. But hello, everyone. Oh, this has been a great way to start a Monday to go, wow. There's every possibility, if you are, of course, joining us on the February Boost Camp, that is going to be your food coming up for the next, yeah, 28 days starting February the 24th. So, of course, come sign up if you haven't already. There is multiple opportunities for you to get yourself organized. The meal plan is due to be released. It's not until the 17th of February, because we're actually in the final week of our very first boost camp for 2025, which of course was our January boost camp, the Great Gut Reset. And the campers are in their final week. Are you a camper? Let me know in the comments. Say hi, even if you're not a camper. Let me know where you're coming from today. We have got a great chat coming up. We're going to be talking about the gut-weight connection. For anyone who's not sure what that all means, you need to hang around, because believe it or not, and for many people, it's a not. But believe it or not, your gut and how healthy your gut is, or how imbalanced your gut is, will actually determine your health, and also, really importantly, your weight as well. So we're going to be chatting about that this morning. And good morning to Daphne, and good morning to Rosemary. I can see Carol, who's joining us from Perth as well. Good morning, ladies. Ruth is just saying she's in February. So what I am assuming that means, Ruth, is you are going to be eating all of these really delicious meals that I have created over the last couple of days. And I am pretty excited about the current boost camp. And one of the reasons I'm excited about it is because we're taking a really close anti-inflammatory response. And when we talk about anti-inflammatory foods, we really are talking about the role that pro-inflammatory foods, so those are the foods that don't serve us in any way, shape, or form. They don't give us energy. They don't give us good weight. They don't give us balanced moods. They don't improve our immune system. They don't make sure that we are at the right weight for our body type. They don't do any of those things. Pro-inflammatory foods basically cause inflammation, and a lot of the inflammation we see hanging around our body in the form of being bloated, being overweight, or carrying more weight than your body actually needs. We also see inflammation. Well, we don't actually see it, but we feel the effects of inflammation when it gets into our gut, and it literally causes havoc in our gut. So our anti-inflammatory response and the types of foods and beverages that we regularly consume is really important when we are talking about this gut-weight connection. And it's actually a really interesting topic, because I'm not sure if you guys have heard of the gut-brain connection. It was a really big kind of push sort of in the last decade for people talking about how does the health of your gut impact the health of your brain. And we now know that it impacts it quite profoundly, in that there is a direct connection from our gut going straight up to our brain. And that connection is known as the gut superhighway or the gut-brain axis. And we get all this information going from our gut to our brain, and then our brain basically distributes the information around our body. We always thought there was more information going from the brain to the gut. We now know that is the opposite. There's way more information going from the gut to the brain. In fact, your gut is known as your second brain because of all of the nerve endings and all of the information that's getting passed from gut to the brain. But did you know that the information that is getting passed from the gut to the brain is actually being transmitted by your gut bugs, your gut microbiome? So understanding this really important connection that the gut or your gut bugs play when it comes to your brain, but also when it comes to your weight. So we're going to be talking about that gut weight connection this morning. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say a bit of a good morning to some other lovely people here. I can see we've got Martina joining us from the Black Forest in Germany. So guten Abend to Martina. It is the evening for her. I can see Janine as well joining us. Also to Ruth saying she's from Perth. It's good to have you joining us, Ruth. I've got Lisa who is on our little podcast this morning. Lisa's joining us from Norfolk in the UK. 5 degrees where you are, Lisa. Oh, so a little bit warmer than that here today. Well, it's actually not too bad, but we did have a bit of a heat wave come through Australia over the weekend. It's supposed to be hanging around early this week. Sending you warm vibes to Lisa joining us from Norfolk. I can see Jeanette also joining us. Helen, good morning. Good morning to Wendy and to Celine as well. Good morning to Josephine and to Karen. Rosemary is just saying, this is from Rosemary, who is currently doing our boost camp. She's managed to lose 79 centimeters on this boost camp. Now, don't forget, folks, the current boost camp is only just starting week 4. So Rosemary has managed to lose 79 centimeters off body parts in 3 weeks, which is pretty impressive stuff. Congratulations, Rosemary. That is very, very impressive. Oh, just amazing. So good morning also to Cherie and to Carla, to Eliza. LJ, good morning. Good morning to Ida as well. Joining us. Ruth's also joining us on YouTube. Good morning, Ruth, from our YouTube as well. And we've got Susanna, Linda, good morning as well. So good morning, everybody. So yeah, really cool topic we're doing this morning. It's about that, as I was talking about, that gut weight connection. And I did actually start off, a little bit naughty today, I have to say. I started off with a shameless plug for our February boost camp. And it is shameless because I have no shame when I'm sharing the type of things that I'm sharing with you guys. And this is what I shared. If you missed the start of today's little podcast, I did share this. Yeah, that's right. I shared this. This is all the food that we are going to be enjoying and devouring on our February boost camp. As I said, it's shameless. I have no shame when I'm sharing this because I'm really proud of the work that I have put in to the new boost camp. So this is our February boost camp. It is an anti-inflammatory approach, and it really ties in today's topic, which is the gut weight connection. So anti-inflammatory approach means we're going to be supporting our gut. And why do we need to support the gut, especially when it comes to weight loss and transforming your health? So just to run you very quickly through some of these recipes, we've got a wonderful salmon nasi lemak top left-hand corner there. Moving right along, it's a curried egg sandwich with a brand new bread recipe that I have created that is completely anti-inflammatory and amazingly good for your gut bugs as well, like incredibly good for your gut bugs. It is a prebiotic masterpiece, anti-inflammatory. Moving after that, I'm now in the middle at the top. That is a turmeric scramble that we have created there with mushrooms and spinach and tomatoes. There's that wonderful tiramisu. So it's a quinoa and chia instant tiramisu. Another wonderful salmon dish there on zucchini noodles, and another type of noodle that I have discovered that is going to rock your world and blow your mind. Like they're so good. So that dish there, possibly my favorite way to have salmon at the moment. There is a bit of satay chicken there and roast vegetables. Down the bottom there is a turmeric chai latte. Yes, we're having lattes on the new booth camp. And the reason I love the turmeric chai latte is because you can have it in so many ways. You can have it as a latte, right? So you can have it nice and creamy. But I've also taken the same latte and I've put it over ice. My goodness, iced turmeric chai latte. Everyone say that, repeat that with me. Iced turmeric chai latte. It is so good. In fact, it is my favorite way to have it because it's a bit warm. But for our lovely listener who's joining in from Norfolk, you may want to avoid the ice, my darling. It sounds like you've got enough ice happening in Norfolk as it is. But yes, that is a wonderful addition to our boost camps. I also have made a masala chai spice there as well. That's that wonderful quick bread I was telling you about that we are using on this new boost camp. Another version of our tiramisu. Now, the popsicle there is inspired by a farm that's at the end of my husband's street. It has been there forever. And yes, he does live in the middle. He grew up in the middle of the city. For anyone who's familiar with Auckland, you know about Strawberry Farm, right? So this is my version of the Strawberry Farm strawberry ice cream that's on Boost Camp. You also get to make pikelets this time around. Again, completely wonderfully healthy and anti-inflammatory and all of the good things in life. Like those pikelets, yeah, Mahe's just like, yum. He really enjoyed those pikelets. We just ate them on their own. Like you could have it with, like, I used to have pikelets with, I'm not sure who else used to have pikelets with sugar and lemon. So you can have them with sugar and lemon because that's how I used to enjoy them. But of course you can also do like, some berries and some toasted coconut, all that sort of stuff. Down the bottom, we've got a wonderful gravy and mash. Again, delicious, delicious. Brand new recipe. The green background there, that recipe is to die for. It is, I'm calling them energy truffles. I did not name them. Someone actually helped me name them. Thank you to who that person was. You helped me name them energy truffles because they are pro-energy, pro-protein, pro-anti-inflammatory, pro-amazing, good, tastes like truffles, amazingly good for you. There's my quick pickled garlic. In love with these. I eat them straight out of the jar. Pickled garlic straight out of the jar, can't go wrong. These little rolls here are made with lupin. If you are joining me on Boost Camp, please now go out and source some lupin flour, L-U-P-I-N. More about that later. A little chocolate blender cake and a wonderful buckwheat porridge. So that's what you get to experience on this Boost Camp. And like, my goodness, if you're considering joining us, now would be the time because it's going to be delicious. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to look after your gut. We're going to look after your weight loss journey. And 100%, we are also going to make sure that we are looking after your anti-inflammatory response. Because understanding this response, understanding how it all works when it comes to the gut-weight connection is one of the main reasons that I got involved in this journey. Like, this is one of the main reasons that I just had to get involved with this journey because I really fell in love with my gut. Pretty unusual thing to fall in love with, I know. Pretty weird, but I did. I fell in love with the science behind how the gut worked. And once I got to understand that what happens in my gut affects my entire body, did I begin to really understand just how important that connection is. So when it comes to the gut weight connection, what is the gut weight? What does that even mean, the gut weight connection? I'm glad you asked. Let's talk a little bit about that and what that all means, because it's really important. Oh, Wendy, I love this. Remember we're talking about pikelets. This is from Wendy. I just saw this. Sugar and lemon was the favorite because we didn't often have cream or anything like that in the house, but we had a lemon tree and we always had sugar. So that was just a favorite on pikelets. That was really a favorite. Didn't do a lot of pancakes growing up, I must say. We were more pikelets family, and I think it's because you could make more pikelets in the pan at any one time. And, having such a big household, pikelets was the go. Who's this from Susanna? This is from Susanna. I told my son, he said hi to me. He said, nice to get acknowledged. Hey, oh, how nice is that? It is very nice to get acknowledged. I do enjoy it as well. I do enjoy it. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting boost camp because we are again really diving into the health of our gut and the gut weight connection, and of course how anti-inflammatory foods fit into the equation. So what is the gut weight connection? So firstly, it's really important to understand that there is a relationship between your gut, particularly your gut bugs, so the bugs, the bacteria that call you home, and how you manage your weight. And kind of in a nutshell, this is kind of how. So the gut, if we call it the gut microbiome, which is kind of like the technical name for your gut bugs. Firstly, your gut microbiome has a direct response on your metabolism. And when your gut is imbalanced, this is called dysbiosis, when there's an imbalance in your gut bacteria. When you're in dysbiosis or imbalance, this can lead to a very, very inefficient use of your metabolism. So basically your metabolism can slow down when your gut bugs are imbalanced. And this can make it really hard to lose weight when your metabolism slows down. But your gut bugs can also determine, and they can also help to either use energy from the food that you're eating, or they can store energy from the food that you're eating. And do you know what energy is? Basically, that's fat accumulation in our body, because fat is simply stored energy. And wouldn't we like to use that fat as energy rather than to store it? So when your gut is imbalanced, so you've got more bad bacteria than you have beneficial bacteria in your gut. When your gut's imbalanced, you have this dysregulation along the lining of your gut. You have this dysregulation or this dysbiosis, which can absolutely slow down your metabolism, and it can also cause more energy storage, aka fat storage, than it is energy usage, and all that because you've got an imbalanced gut. The other thing is that your gut bacteria can really determine and help to sort of balance out the hormones that tell you whether you're hungry or not. So your gut bugs can help to signal when you feel full, or they can suppress that hormone signaling, which actually turns off in some cases, and it's really hard for your brain to get that information from your gut bugs that you're actually full, and we can overeat when we have this dysregulation in our gut. You know, this can of course lead to inflammation. When you've got an unhealthy gut, we can also experience often chronic inflammation right down that entire length of your gut, which is really dangerous because where inflammation lives, so does disease and illness. So that inflammatory conditions that we experience in our gut can often be the start of illness and disease forming along the length of your gut, whether in your esophagus, in your stomach, through your small intestines, right and through into your large intestines as well. And inflammation along the gut can also damage the lining of the gut. I'm sure you guys have heard about that term, leaky gut syndrome. So how leaky gut is even how it forms is from having chronic inflammation throughout the gut. And when you've got leaky gut syndrome, it's almost like you've got these microscopic holes that have perforated the delicate lining of your gut. When you've got leaky gut syndrome, that actually means that toxins from the food that you are consuming, especially if you're consuming a lot of pro-inflammatory foods, toxins from those foods can actually get through those little holes in your gut, and it can leak into the bloodstream and cause havoc and even trigger weight gain as well. So you can see that just that connection that, you know, this gut weight connection can have in the body. I'm also talking about cravings, because your gut bugs can also signal certain cravings in your body. Did you know that your gut can actually cause you to crave certain foods? And it can lead to pretty bad food choices if your gut bugs are particularly fond of certain foods that aren't great for you, but these are the foods that you've been eating. So your gut bugs like to eat those as well, and they can actually determine what types of foods that you can crave. And yes, this can lead to some pretty poor food choices. And then of course there's also things like how you digest the food. So your gut health can determine digestion, whether you're experience a lot of bloating or constipation or even diarrhea. And all these things can make it very difficult to maintain a healthy weight, because if you're not digesting your food properly, this can lead to nutrient deficiency because you're not even able to absorb the nutrients from the food that you're eating. So there's a lot of, you can kind of see there's a lot of ways that the gut can impact our weight and impact our health. And one of the main ones is, of course, metabolism, those regulation of hunger hormones or not, right? Because your hunger hormones are just basically running rampant. They're not actually have that turn off signal, as well as just, how can we make better food choices? So there's a lot of ways that this connection can actually be influenced, right? The gut when it comes to our weight. But what are the signs that your gut may be unhealthy? Because if you're going, yeah, okay, that doesn't sound like something that I want to be a part of. So how can your gut, what is these signs that your gut is actually not doing too good? So as I discussed before, one of the signs that your gut may not be as healthy as it could be is that you suffer from digestive issues. So anything like bloating, feeling like that feeling of fullness that you have after eating, even when you're eating small meals. Gas is another great example of a digestive issue in the gut, whether it's excessive gas or lots and lots of burping, because basically burping is reverse farting. Did you know that? It's probably never been explained before, but gas, right? That buildup of gas, it's got to come out one way or the other. So it's either going to be burped out or it's going to be farted out. So burping is reverse farting. You're never going to look at burping the same again. Please tell me you're never going to look at farting the same. Oh, it's hilarious, right? I shouldn't have said that. I do apologize. No, I don't. But it's true. It's gas, right? It's gas buildup that'll either go up or it'll go down. It's got to move out. And sometimes burping, like especially excessive burping, can actually be caused because the food is in your stomach. So the gas can't go forward because the food is in your stomach. And this is especially true for someone who burps a lot. And you find there's like normal burping, absolutely, right? Especially when I've had a bit of fizzy water, a burp. But if you're finding that you're burping excessively, that's kind of a signal that the food that you've just eaten is spending way too long in your tummy. So that gas is actually building up in your tummy and it's got to go somewhere. It can't go forward because the food is sitting in there too long. And because it can't go forward, it goes up and out. And if you are someone who experiences excessive burping, one of the things that I'll be looking into straight away is whether you've got enough stomach acid. Because chances are you don't. If you experience heartburn, if you experience acid reflux, if you experience excessive burping, chances are you do not have enough stomach acid. That food is sitting around in your tummy too long. It's not moving on to the next stage of digestion, which of course means that that food is rotting and fermenting, and that excessive gas is building up, that feeling of bloating and that feeling of burping and that feeling of acid reflux. This is all a sign that you have inefficient stomach acid, by the way. But there you go, burping. Did anyone know that? Reverse farting. I'm talking about excessive burping here, by the way, not just the normal type of burping because you got a little bit of gas buildup. So digestive issues, yes, constipation, diarrhea, either or. Some people suffer from constipation and diarrhea because there's such a dysbiosis or a dysregulation along the lining of the gut. And as we've talked about, heartburn or acid reflux is another sign that the gut isn't doing too well, right? The gut isn't doing too good. Other signs that you may experience are things like food intolerances. So difficulty digesting certain foods, especially if those foods are healthy foods. Like if you're experiencing food intolerances to things like commercial dairy, get it. That stuff is pro-inflammatory. That stuff is generally not not that great for us anyway. So I get that you may be experiencing that. And it's one of the most common food intolerances or food, food sensitivities is to dairy, because let's be honest, we're not supposed to consume as much dairy as we do. In fact, when we're younger, we can tolerate dairy a lot better because you have the necessary enzymes in your body because you're still younger and the body knows it. But as we age, we become more and more intolerant to dairy because we no longer lack the enzymes necessary to break the dairy down. Our body just stops producing it because we should be weaning ourselves off all that dairy. So things like dairy, I get those food sensitivities or intolerances, things like commercial gluten or wheat products. I get all those things like food sensitivities towards, food additives and food coloring. That stuff's all pretty poisonous. But I'm actually talking about food intolerances to foods that are relatively healthy. That we know is caused by a dysregulation in the gut, dysbiosis in the gut. And of course, I'm talking about people who find themselves having intolerances towards onions and garlic and all those types of foods that should actually be on the scale of the healthy side. So that shows us there's a dysregulation along the gut. Also, when it comes to weight change, like if you have noticed excessive weight gain quite quickly, that can often tell us that there is poor gut health happening there, but also weight loss as well. So excessive or very fast weight gain, chances are we have an imbalanced gut microbiome, but also weight loss is another sign of dysregulation in the gut, because if we're experiencing quite significant weight loss and quite quickly as well, we could be looking at a lack of nutrient absorption along that gut lining. Another great way, or I suppose symptom, pretty obvious symptom that you may have gut dysregulation is things like fatigue and just having low energy. So I'm talking about chronic fatigue or feeling tired even after you've had like a full night's sleep. And I used to suffer from this so badly. So for me, I would sleep 12 hours, wake up and be tired. And have you ever used that saying, I think I'm overtired? Like chances are, it's really hard to be overtired. We've got to look at what that statement actually means. And for a lot of people, chronic fatigue is caused by a dysregulation in the gut. A dysregulation that is causing that fatigue, that is causing that low energy as well. Because don't forget, not only is the gut responsible for digesting our food, in the gut is also where we produce those hormones that just make us feel happy. Our good mood hormones, like our serotonin. All of this the majority of this is created and lives in the gut. And another symptom that you may notice is things like skin issues. So acne, yes, caused by gut dysregulation, eczema, rosacea, or even just dry or irritated skin. I've talked already about mood disorders. So, things like anxiety and depression, or, irritability and mood swings. Sugar cravings is often a way to determine whether we have an overgrowth of really harmful bacteria in the gut. And here's one that's really interesting. And again, we need to look at what's going on in the gut, and that is bad breath or halitosis. So an imbalance of gut bacteria can also lead to bad breath, even if you've got really good oral hygiene. And then we talk about sleep disturbances, autoimmune conditions, the inability to heal well. So someone who's constantly picking up frequent infections that are that they struggle to heal those infections. Joint pain is another sign. There's so many different signs when it comes to this signs of having an unhealthy gut. But what does it actually mean? And we go back to those conditions we've been talking about. So, your risk of disease and illness goes up. Your risk of weight gain goes up. And with weight gain, we know we will also find an imbalance in other areas of our life when we are carrying excessive weight for us. So what can you do about it? This is probably the most important part of this chat, because at any one time, you've potentially experienced some of those symptoms of having an imbalanced gut. For me personally, I had them probably all at the same time, everything at the same time, right? Because my gut was so incredibly unhealthy. And it's one of the reasons why I got so interested in this topic of gut health and gut weight connection. Because when we're carrying excessive weight, we are at higher risk of all those metabolic conditions that we often talk about. So excessive weight can lead to high blood sugar, high glucose, high insulin, which of course over time will lead to pre-diabetic diagnosis followed by type 2 diabetes. If left unchecked, we're talking about the risk of amputations, we're talking about premature blindness, we're talking about heart disease, we're talking about Alzheimer's, dementia, all those conditions that are caused by living with high levels of blood glucose and high levels of insulin. I mean, it's also really, really dangerous when it comes to people as well, the developing brain, when it comes to having high blood glucose. So, it doesn't just affect the older generation. It also profoundly impacts the younger generation as well. So we're talking all about those illnesses and diseases: heart disease, high blood pressure, Hashimoto's disease, or an impacted thyroid. We're talking about certain cancers. We are talking about, all sorts of risks of high cholesterol and blood pressure and these type of conditions that we know are so closely connected to weight gain and so closely connected to longevity and also to just satisfaction within our lives. When we're carrying excessive weight and we're no longer able to move as well as we used to, we no longer have the desire to do things because our energy and our moods are now so flat, or we're spending all our time in hospitals or doctor's surgeries because we're picking up every single illness that is going around. I mean, this gut weight connection is really a gut health connection, isn't it? And what can we do? Like, what can we do to ensure that we are looking after our gut so that this gut weight, gut health connection is a positive one as opposed to one that we're struggling with? So there is a number of things that we can do, like a number of really, I want to say easy, but very positive things that you can start to implement now. And in fact, I've got my list of 10 things for you guys. So the number one thing that you can do to really positively impact that gut weight connection, that gut health connection, is to eat a really diverse range of foods. We often find that with the picky eaters, the people who eat the same thing every day, even regardless of whether that thing is relatively healthy, if you're someone who's constantly eating the same thing every day, and it's why I keep on changing boost camps, it's why I keep on creating new meal plans, because it is so important that we eat a diverse range of whole foods. What is a whole food? It's something that you can recognize when you look at it. So, for example, a tomato, that is a whole food. Tomato sauce from Fountain or Watties, that is not a whole food, because it does not even apart from it still being red, it no longer resembles its whole self. Another example of a whole food would be, what's another great example? I'm trying to think of something outside of fruit and vegetables. They're my go-to. Okay, another example of a whole food would be a piece of salmon, right? A piece of salmon. I know it's not the whole salmon, but you can still identify that is like, that's salmon, right? An example of a non-whole food would be salmon flavored chips. I don't know if they exist, but that would definitely be an example of a processed non-whole food. So you need to eat, number one, a diverse range of foods. The more diversity, the better. In fact, there is a number that has been doing the rounds within the functional nutritional community for a long time now. So they refer to counting of your plants, not counting of your calories, right? Count your plants, everyone. Oh, look at this. This is from Susanna. How nice is this? Yay, priceless information. Count your plants. Don't worry about counting calories. Don't worry about counting your macros. We need to learn to count our plants. So the magic number of different types of plants you should eat in a week is 30 plants. But unfortunately, The majority of humans eat about four. Does anyone here know what those four plants, the four most consumed plants are in the world? Does anyone know what are the four most, there is four of them. I know it's hard to believe, but you should be eating about 30 different plants a week, which is actually not that hard because there's lots of plants, different types of herbs, they're all plants, different types of spices, they're all plants, right? Different types of vegetables and fruits. Coffee's a plant. Here's my plant right here. That's one plant for me today. My other's not a plant. I've had my water, but I'm having my plant. I've got my plant here, isn't this just fantastic? So that's a great guess from Linda. She said potato, carrot, wheat, and rice. You're pretty much on the money there, Linda, pretty much. So the four most consumed plants in the world is wheat is one of them, rice, potatoes, and soy. Those are the four most consumed plants. Now, the reason why soy, you're probably going soy, really? Like who eats like soybeans and stuff? It's actually because the majority of soy is grown, cultivated to be used as animal feed. So it's kind of like a byproduct, even though you don't realize it, but you're actually, when you're eating a lot of, especially if it's feedlot animals, so animals that have been, grown or, brought up in feedlots as opposed to grass-fed or naturally fed, they have a lot of soy in their diet. So yeah, it's pretty crazy when majority of people are eating potatoes, rice, and wheat. Those are the three main ones. I could throw iceberg lettuce in there, which is like probably the most boring lettuce. I mean, I like the crunch, don't get me wrong. I'm here for the crunch. But in terms of like flavor, it's got zero flavor. Iceberg's like pretty bad, hey? It's pretty bad. But yeah, there's not a lot of variety or diversity, whereas we want to count our plants. Do it next time you sit in front of your food. Count your plants. Last time I did that, I did a TikTok live cooking class yesterday. I was just meal prepping and I was also playing around with a few recipes for the next boost camp. And I'm pretty excited by those recipes too, by the way. So I just did that on TikTok live yesterday. And I counted just the amount of plants that was in my bowl that was about to go into a curry I was making. And there was just 7 plants in one curry. That wasn't including all the spices in the curry. So you can kind of see how you can get your number of your plants up pretty quickly. But diversity is number one. And eating a big range of different whole foods is really, really important. Number 2, we need to focus on probiotic-rich foods. Notice I didn't say probiotic capsules. I said food. You need to eat food. If you want to be healthy, you've got to eat food. Not thinking that you can out-supplement your diet. Not thinking that if I'm having this probiotic capsule, so I'm sweet, I don't have to worry about eating probiotic foods. I'll just eat potatoes and wheat and rice and corn. I think that's the other one, apart from soy, is corn. Like, it's like, no, you need to eat food. You can't out-supplement a poor nutritional response. So when I'm talking about probiotic foods, I'm talking about all of those wonderful sauerkrauts and kimchis, all the fermented foods, all the pickles that we make on Boost Camp. Miso, oh my gosh, I've made this new vegetable stock with miso. It is amazing. So now you can make a vegetable stock with miso in it. Things like tempeh, which is fermented soybean. Of course, you're going to get an organic one, organic soybean always, but really choosing those products that are naturally full of probiotics anyway. They're naturally high in probiotics, and you eat your probiotics because there is more probiotics in 2 tablespoons of sauerkraut or kimchi than there is in an entire jar of Inner Health Plus. And you're not supposed to have an entire jar of Inner Health Plus at one time. You're supposed to have 1 capsule a day. It has about 60 million CFUs or colony forming units, which isn't very much. Let me tell you, 60 billion, sorry, not very much at all. I know billion sounds like a lot. It's not. There is nearly 1.5 trillion probiotic CFUs in 2 tablespoons of a good quality sauerkraut or kimchi. I make my own sauerkraut because it's easy and it's cheap and I like it. It's basically cabbage and salt and thyme. That's it. Needs about 3 days to just sit on itself, and then you've got wonderful sauerkraut. I've got to make some more. It's getting smashed in my house right now. I'm very happy, but I'm very sad at the same time. I'm like, I'm going to have to start. This is so bad. I'm going to have to start hiding my sauerkraut because everyone in the house eats it, and I make a really big jar, and it just goes brrr. Like sauerkraut used to last months in our fridge because I was the only one eating it. Now everyone's into it. Every single person is into it, and it's good, but it's bad. Thankfully, it doesn't take long to make. Oh, this is from Ruth. I saw your TikTok, Bridget. That's right. Yeah, I am going to be doing lots of TikTok lives, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I go and do I cook. I just cook and I talk. I got lipstick on my teeth. I think I have. Gone now. So I talk and I TikTok. I cook basically and I talk. And it's often just like really, it's really not scripted. It's not planned. I've got recipe testing in front of me. I don't really know what I'm doing. And it's kind of just that creative process and inspiring people just to get into the kitchen, and chop things and eat whole foods and eat diverse foods. I mean, that's pretty much what it's about. So yeah, come join me on TikTok, BHK Chef. In fact, here's a really cool thing for anyone. On Wednesday, this Wednesday coming, I am doing a TikTok live. And this is through TikTok. They're actually promoting it. So it's TikTok Live TV, 6 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne, Victoria time. I am doing a battle with a very, very well-known TikToker. He is quite popular online. We're going to be battling in the kitchen. We're going to be cooking 2 healthy recipes from the brand new book. That's right. From Bridget's Healthy Delicious. We're going to be cooking 2 recipes. I'm battling against him. He's in his kitchen. I'm in mine. We're battling. I may go easy on him. I don't know. He talks he talks it up, so I may not go easy on him. He's a bit of a stitch up artist. He is. So I may not go easy on him. We'll see how we go. Depends how nice he is to me. So that's 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Just go onto TikTok BHK Chef. I'll make sure that we share it on our Facebook pages. But also on Wednesday, I'm doing TV, like real as in a studio, Channel 7 TV, 10:45 a.m. Sydney time as well, just so in case you're wondering. So yes, diverse food. I digressed. Probiotic foods, that was number 2. Number 3 is prebiotic foods. What is a prebiotic food? Prebiotic foods are basically fibers that the body doesn't digest in this part, like doesn't get digested fully in your tummy, doesn't get digested in your small intestine. In fact, these non-digestible prebiotic fibers actually go straight through your body and they go into your large intestine where they become food, fertilizer for your gut bugs. So basically prebiotic foods, what are prebiotic foods? Our inulin powder is a prebiotic. Our fiber syrup is a prebiotic, but you can also get prebiotics in a lot of your vegetables, right? A lot of vegetables are like asparagus, prebiotic, onions, prebiotic, leeks, garlic, prebiotics, right? So all of these types of foods, even there's prebiotics in apples, there's prebiotics in flax seeds. So all of these types of foods, they literally don't get digested in your tummy or your small intestine. They go straight through into your large intestine, and there they become food for your probiotics. And because they get undigested in other parts of your digestive system, they go through pretty much intact. This also helps to bulk out the stool. So someone who's eating a lot of good quality fiber, prebiotic fiber, they tend to have decent poos. Yes, they do. They do. Has anyone seen, oh my gosh, I don't even know if we should be talking about that. Has anyone seen that meme going around about a fossilized, I think it was a fossilized Viking poo that they found, and it was the largest poo that has ever been documented. It was huge. Imagine the fiber those Vikings were eating. Imagine the fiber. It was humongous, but they reckon it was human. I don't know how they find these things out. It was a fossilized poo, and it was huge. It looked like, what can I describe it? It looked like a big tuber, like a root vegetable, like a really, really, really large, like sweet potato, like a large one. It was humongous. But anyway, lots of fiber in that diet. And of course, that prebiotic foods is what helps to create quality stool, right? Good quality, bulky stool, which is what we want. It also helps to make very nice passable stool as well. So it makes it quite easy to pass. And it is incredibly good for your gut bacteria. Incredibly. It's what they eat. It's what they love. It's what they need. So that's number 3. Number 4, if you are really wanting to improve the health of your gut and you looked at those symptoms that we talked about earlier and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a bit of me. Oh, yeah, I'm resonating with that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've had that as well. If you are someone who has food sensitivities that you know about, like, for example, you eat or you have milk in your coffee and you are farting like a champion the rest of the day, or you are snoring quite a lot. Did you know that's a sign of a food sensitivity? Yes. Did you know snoring is a sign of food sensitivity? If you're someone who regularly suffers from bloating when you eat, or cramping, or diarrhea, or constipation, all those things that we talked about, and it happens directly after you eat certain foods, you have a food sensitivity and you need to eliminate it from your diet. Do not keep putting it in and hoping for the best. You're like, oh, okay, so it hurt yesterday, but maybe today it won't hurt. It's still going to hurt because you haven't addressed your food sensitivity, which means you haven't addressed the dysregulation on your gut. It can change. This is the great part. If you heal your gut, you can actually begin to reintroduce these sensitive foods back into your body. But you've got to address it first. So number 4 is you need to eliminate those foods that are making you feel like crap. And you know which ones they are. You're sitting here right now going, I know which food she's talking about. And the reason why I know that you know these things is because, my goodness, the amount of conversations I have with people when I do our private one-on-one nutritional coaching sessions with people, the amount of times they say, you know, I feel bloated when I eat this. And I'm like, well, have you stopped eating it? Well, no. I'm like, well, you need to, because it's obviously a sensitivity that your gut has. And you keep on putting toxins and poisoners in because that's how your body feels about those certain foods right now. Doesn't mean you can't have them forever, depending on what those sensitivities are. I'm not talking about allergies. That's completely different. I'm talking about sensitivities, intolerances, which is different to an allergy. So yes, you all know what I'm talking about there. And if you're getting that, you need to stop it. You do. Okay, number 5, we need to heal the lining of your gut. Now, I'm talking about leaky gut syndrome, which is those microscopic holes that have gone into that delicate lining of your gut that has been caused by chronic inflammation of your gut for many years. What causes chronic inflammation? Eating foods that your body is intolerant towards. Some of the main ones are our gluten and wheat products and dairy, like over consumption of commercialized dairy are just some of the few. I'm also talking about food additives. I'm talking about food coloring. I'm talking about nitrates. I'm talking about all of these things that they put into our processed foods that is causing systematic inflammation, chronic inflammation, which of course then leads to leaky gut syndrome, holes in your gut, which also means poor nutrient absorption. So we've got to heal your gut. Number 5, we have to heal your gut. Come join Boost Camp. That's what we do. We heal your gut. One of the ways that I heal your gut is we take out all of the inflammatory foods. We take out all of the food sensitivities, right? We recognize that there are foods that their job is basically to create havoc and make someone really, really rich. You know, food manufacturers and the like, you know, like an Oreo, great example of a pretty much a non-food. Like, that's not food. Oreos aren't food. They're just whatever that is, right? It's like just a collection of non-foods made into a biscuit shape. There's no actual food in that product, right? Rice crackers. There's no food in rice crackers. It's not a food. It's just a food-like substance. So, we remove all those food-like substances from our diet, and we begin the very important job of healing our gut. The other way that we heal your gut on Boost Camp is I make sure you're having collagen-rich foods, because it's that gelatin that we put into the apple cider vinegar lollies. It's the gelatin that you're going to see in this next Boost Camp in the recipes as well. I'm putting a bit of gelatin into bread. Is the gelatin that I recommend that you have in your protein tea every single day, right? That is going to help to heal and seal your gut lining. But also making sure you're getting lots of zinc-rich foods. So things like seafood, even stuff like pumpkin seeds and spinach and parsley and cabbage. These are all high zinc and high glutamine foods, which again is really good for healing the gut lining as well. So that's number 5. Number 6, well, I kind of talked about this already. We just reduce those inflammatory foods. So all those anti-inflammatory foods, they get increased, and all those pro-inflammatory foods, they get decreased. Number 7, you need to stay hydrated. It's one of the most important reasons that I bang on so much about drinking your water. Water is important for weight loss. Water is important for healing your gut. Water is important for proper elimination of toxins, which means basically you poo regularly. Water is important for supporting that digestive process, nutrient absorption, and also it's important for helping to heal that lining of the gut. So drink plenty of water. You've got to drink your water. Aim to drink your water every single day. If you're struggling to drink your water, start to measure it, because you can't manage what you don't measure. Number 7, you have to stay hydrated. And if you really want to stay hydrated, do my electrolyte drink, which is so simple to do. 1 teaspoon of magnesium powder into 1 liter of water, half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, which is potassium, and a pinch of mineral salt, which is sodium. That's all you need for an electrolyte drink. Don't waste your money on that expensive stuff. Use my electrolyte drink. It is simple. Once a day, 1 liter of water. If you work out, twice a day, right? Take it with you to the gym as well. So that's number 7. Number 8, you also need to think about managing stress, because chronic stress, that's the stress that's that stress that is always feeling like it's there. You're always feeling a little bit stressed out. Chronic stress disrupts the gut, because that signaling from the gut to the brain is disturbed, because your digestive issues that you're having in your gut is disturbing that information going from the gut to the brain. And yes, it will disrupt your stress hormone. So we have to be mindful about stress when it comes to healing our gut as well. If you need to, consider digestive support if you need to, but digestive support is just mindful eating, to be honest. Making sure that you slow down and chew your food thoroughly to stimulate your own production of digestive enzymes. I've been a chronic fast eater pretty much my entire life. All it being a chef in my career, you had to eat on the go. So I practice mindful eating. I'm practicing slowing down. I don't always get it right, but I keep on practicing it. And every now and then I will actually turn to digestive enzymes that you can purchase. That does help me to break down my food, especially when I'm in a really busy period and I know I'm woofing it down. So consider digestive support, but honestly, mindful eating is one of the best ways to stimulate your own production of digestive enzymes. And of course, you need to have a plan. This is number 10. You need to have a plan. And what is that plan? Come and join us on Boost Camp. I give you the plan. I've done the hard work. I've done the work for you guys, right? I've done the meal plan. I've created the recipes. I've made sure that the recipes are taking into account the gut weight connection, right? So it's healing your gut. It is anti-inflammatory, which is also so important for healing the gut, because that gut weight connection we can't ignore, even though I had no idea it existed. I was ignoring it. But now that I know, I can't ignore it, because having a healthy gut means that you will be at the right weight for you. Having a healthy gut means that that gut-brain axis is a smooth highway of information, not a highway that's got roadblocks on it, traffic jams, right? Breakdowns. You want a smooth highway of connection so that your gut bugs are talking to your brain, and your brain is able to distribute that information throughout your body. But of course, just understanding that in order for us to really transform our weight and our health, we have to heal our gut in the process. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's little lesson about gut-weight connection, and just how important that connection is. Of course, come join us on Boost Camp. That is the plan. That is number 10. But at the same time, just keep on leaning into learning all this stuff, learning all these wonderful things when it comes to how our bodies work, because the more you know, the more in control you are. And when you have control, it just makes sense. You don't have to think. It's not a guessing game. We literally take the guesswork out of being healthy and being out the right weight for you. So have a fabulous day, everybody. I better get off to the kitchen. I've got just a couple more recipes to test. I know it's hard to believe, but I haven't quite got there yet. I've just got a couple more that I want to test. I shouldn't say it, but I'm hoping I pull it off. So yesterday on TikTok, I made the pastry for a handheld pie. So yes, I want to eat pies. I'm a Kiwi. I want to eat pies. I want to eat pies on Boost Camp. So I'm working on a recipe for us. Isn't that exciting? I know, pies for Boost Camp. Can't wait. Wish me luck. Until tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you guys all online tomorrow. But yeah, enjoy your beautiful day today, and be well and be safe. Come join us on Boost Camp. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.